Hi guys, I'll be looking at this integration of trigonometric function. The question says evaluate cos x over 3. Okay, I'll be solving this question with two different methods. The first one is with the use of formula. The second one is actually longer. So let's start with the first one, the first method. But before that, I'm going to write solution. Okay, always remember that if you're integrating cos theta, you're going to get sine theta plus constant. That is the law. And there is a function in integration that is actually a formula. If you're integrating, for instance, you want to integrate cos ax, okay, so this becomes 1 over a here is the coefficient of x is the variable, a is a number, that's the coefficient of x, sine ax plus c. This is the formula I'm going to use to integrate this. Okay, so this is actually shorter if you can remember the formula, but the second one is longer if you cannot remember the formula, but whichever one, you are good to go. So this is equal to bringing out the expression which is cos 1 over 3x. That is 1 over 3x is x over 3, because you multiply 1 by x to give you x over 3. So looking at this, to integrate this using this formula, that will give us, because remember, if you're integrating cos, you're getting sine. I'll write sine here. Okay, and remember that this 1 over 3 is representing a. Okay, that is the coefficient of x. X is the variable, as I said earlier. So that will be 1 over 1 divided by 3. Okay, sine x, that is 1 over 3x, that is x over 3. Because this and x over 3 are the same, plus constant. So this is the same thing as, remember that this is 1 divided by 1 over 3. So what I'm going to do is to, law of indices, you turn it up, 3 will multiply 1, you now have 3 over 1, which is 3, sine x over 3 plus c. This is actually the value of this cos x over 3 when you integrate it, okay, using this formula. If you can remember the formula, that is very fantastic. So now remember we have upper limit there as pi over 6 and lower limit as 0. So what we're going to do is to substitute x with the upper limit pi over 6 and also substitute x with the lower limit, which is 0. Now this is the same thing as 3 sine, replacing x with pi over 6, that will give me pi divided by 6. Okay, remember we have 3 here already, you can still go straight multiplying 6 by 3, then plus c. Okay, right. So for the lower limit, I'll have 3 sine, I'll replace x with 0, that will give me 0 over 3 plus sec. Okay, now, so when you have the upper and the lower limit, what you do is to subtract the lower limit from the upper limit and simplify to get your answer. So this becomes 3 sine pi divided by 6 times 3 is actually 18 plus c. Okay, then remember to enclose the expression in the bracket, then minus. Okay, remember that for the lower limit, the value should be, because this is 0, 0 over 3 is actually 0. Sine 0 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0. So I'm getting 0 plus c here. Okay, now this is the same thing as 3 sine. Okay, remember 3 sine pi over 18 plus c. So I will clear the bracket here. Minus times 0 is minus 0. Okay, minus times plus c is minus c. Minus times plus is minus. Okay, so this is equal to 3 sine. So there's something I want you to know, that that pi, okay, pi is equal to pi radian, because pi is in radian, is equals to 180 degree. It's very important to remember. So in this case, I'm going to replace pi with 180 degree. So that will be 180 degree. 180 degree divided by 18. Okay. Minus 180 degree divided by 18 plus c. Okay. Remember that this is 0. C minus c is 0. So I just ignore this. You can just ignore it, because c minus c is 0. So minus 0 is 0. So this becomes 3 sine 180 divided by 18. That will give me 10. Right? 10 degree. Okay? So sine 10 degree times by 3. Sine 10 degree, if you work it out, multiply by 3, that should give you 0.521 as the answer. This is actually, check sine 10 degree with your calculator. That should be around 0.7174 something times by 3. That will give you 0.521. If you press the calculator, sine 10 degree multiply by 3, that will give you 0.21. Okay, this is actually the first method. You can see it's somehow short. It appears long because I was explaining. Now the second method. 1 second. Let me look at the second method. Sorry. I'm going to look at the second method. Okay. Now, always remember that we can say, since we have, we know that cos theta is equal to sine theta plus c when you integrate. We can bring out this expression as cos x over 3. Then we can say let theta be equal to x over 3. Okay? Now, so that we can write the expression in the bracket as cos theta dx. But if you write cos theta dx, you have to make you have to write the theta here as well. You have to look, not really right, you have to look for the value of the theta, because you can't integrate theta with respect to x. You have to integrate theta with respect, integrate cos theta with respect to d theta. So before we do that, before we replace this theta here, this x over 3 with theta here, so we're going to differentiate the theta with respect to x, dx. That will be 1 over 3x, okay? So when you differentiate this, remember the formula for integration, which is n a x raised to the power of n minus 1. N is the power of the variable x, okay? So, and the power of variable x here is 1. So 1 times 1 over 3 will give us 1 over 3. So when you differentiate this, we'll have 1 over 3 x, then n is 1, that is 1 here, 1 minus 1, that will give me 0. So the theta dx is 1 minus 1 is actually 0, and anything raised to the power of 0 in indices is 1. So I have the theta over the x as 1 over 3. So what I'm going to do here is to make the x the subject of the formula, to look for the value of the x, okay? That will give me, if I cross multiply, I have the x times 1, which will be dx, is equals to 3 times the theta. That will give me the 3 d theta. Okay, now I have 3 d theta. So I'm going to bring out this original expression. Then I will now write integral of cos. Remember, we say let theta be equals to, let theta equals to x over 3. So we're going to replace x over 3 here with theta. Okay, then d. Remember, we got the x as 3 d theta. Okay, let me write it well. Okay. Okay, so we're going to replace the x here, this dx, we're going to replace it with 3 d theta. That will give me that will be, okay, cos theta times 3 d theta. Okay, so remember that we have pi over 6 here as the upper limit and the 0 as the lower limit. So this is what I'm going to integrate now. I will integrate this to have, remember that cos theta is equals to sin theta plus c when you integrate. So now if I integrate that, I'll have, because I'm integrating cos theta with respect to theta, so that will give me sin theta, but this 3 is going to multiply sin now. Okay, 3 sin theta, then plus c. Okay, 3 sin theta plus c, upper limit pi over 6, lower limit 0. So this is going to be, 3 sine. Remember that the value of theta is x over 3. You bring it back, x over 3 plus c. Okay, that's what we're having now. That's pi over 6 and 0. So now we do our normal substitution. Anywhere we see x, we substitute with pi over 6, and anywhere we for the upper limit, and for the lower limit we substitute with 0. So this becomes 3 sine pi over 6 times by 3, okay, plus c, that is a constant of integration, minus, for the lower limit I have 3 sine pi over 6 times 3. Sorry, I'm replacing with a 0. Not for the lower limits. For the lower limit is a 0. Okay. That is a 0 over 3 plus constant. This is the same thing as 3 sine pi over 18 plus constant, okay, minus, okay, remember that 0 over 3 is 0, sine 0 is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, so I'm having 0 plus c here. Okay, this is equal to, remember I said that pi radian is equals to 180 degree. So when I'm going to replace pi with 180 degree, that will give me 3 sine 180 divided by 18 plus c. So I'm going to expand the bracket with minus sign. So that will give me minus 0. Minus times plus is minus c, okay? So this is equal to 3 sine 180 over 18 is 10. Okay, plus c minus c is 0. Minus 0 is 0. So I have 3 sine 10. Okay? So 3 sine 10, that will give me, if you press your calculator, 3 sine 10, sine 10 multiplied by 3 will give me 0.21 approximately. So we got the same answer with the previous without using the formula. So that is it. So don't forget to hit the subscribers button and also like what you watched. Thank you.